6th grade news investigation on the missing Kurt Angle trophy.
Brown would get revenge on taking the trophy, and this is why.
All the boys had this fake wrestling competition, and Mr. Greenwood and Mr. Brown tied. Then Mr. Greenwood won fair and square, and now Mr. Brown is mad.
Mr. Brown clearly stated when we interviewed him that Mr. Greenwood cheated.
About the trophy, we've been talking to Mr. Dudley, and so he has a reason why he thinks that it could be you.
Alright, so when we were in Mr. Dudley's office, he was telling us a story about, what was it, last year's championship between all you boys that you and Mr. Greenwood tied.
And he said that Mr. Greenwood won fair and square, and that
After you
you're
guys-
sore losing.
And then we went to Mr. Best and Mr. Hill, and they were acting pretty suspicious too because of what we were asking them about, like, what, he said, where would you put it if you had it, and he wouldn't answer that question.
So who do you think has it?
Before I get to that point, let me address a couple things. First off, I can't necessarily name that anything Mr. Greenwood has beaten me at fairly. Mr. Greenwood has been declared a winner, and I have beaten him like this weekend in our fantasy football competition.
Okay.
So I just want to get that clear to begin with.
Okay.
Let me give you a little bit of background from my standpoint. Mr. Greenwood asked me to display this sign. I consider Mr. Greenwood a friend.
Okay.
So I did it.
Yeah.
Put it up for him. That then has turned into me somehow being accused of stealing this trophy.
Okay.
My standpoint is Mr. Greenwood probably lost it. Have you ever seen his desk? And somehow by me trying to do the right thing, help a friend, people who do the wrong things cheat to win, accuse me of doing the wrong thing.
So if you think that he lost it, what about like all these pictures of like in Mr. Dudley's room and from like in the cafeteria?
You know what? I'm kind of the same way as you guys. Like, if I'd have known that this is what was going to happen from the beginning, I might have even been worried about being a suspect. Because I know there's a little history between Mr. Greenwood and I. But as it stood, did you guys see Mr. Greenwood just walk back there? I saw Mr. Greenwood just walk back there. There he is. See him going in the gym? Turn around. Get that. He's walking in the gym. Walking in the gym. I just think that's a little odd for a guy that has a class upstairs to be down here right now. But anyways, what happened was I posted that thinking in a couple days he'll probably find it on his desk, and no big deal, I helped him out.
Yeah.
But then these pictures started floating up, and by me like saying, well, I'll post these pictures if I posted that one, now I've become a suspect.
Alright, so I have a question. As on here, you can read that it says, last seen Friday, October 27th,
His birthday.
Mr. Greenwood's birthday. So I'm wondering if anybody took it, they had to be planning this. Because why would they take it on his birthday if they know it's his prized possession?
I like that theory. I wish I could tell you when Mr. Greenwood's birthday is. I'm not necessarily a birthday kind of guy. So to know what day Mr. Greenwood's birthday was and wasn't, I understand your theory. If you're pointing fingers at me, I'm probably not your guy.
Okay. Alright. Thank you so much. Oh, wait.
Absolutely. Good luck.
And we have one more question. We found this key in the trophy case, and you're wondering, it has a note on it that says key to locks that go on case and hallway. So we were wondering if we could take it up to Miss Regal and let her see it.
I think that's an appropriate thing to do. I'm glad we have that recorded before I get accused of something else trying to do the right thing.
Because Maya was the one that saw it back there.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
We found this in here. It has a note on it.
And it says key to locks that go on case and hallway. And so Mr. Brown was right here when we got it. And so we're going to try to figure out it. See
So maybe we can open like the trophy case by the rest of
Class, Mr. Brown showed to where we can see his screen, and he has several pictures having to do with the trophy. As you can see, there's several that have to do with Kurt Angle.
picture we see reflections of people.
In the first person, you can kind of see the glasses and the nose and the head. I think it's Mr. Brown because Mr. Brown looks like this.
And then we see a foot down here, which proves that we are positive that there is a person right there. And there's another person that you can see right here, but we cannot tell who that is.
Kurt Angle's email is a Hotmail account, and when we tried to change the password, it came up with a phone number that would let us use the password, and it ended in a 96.
So we got a phone tree from the office, and it said that Mr. Brown's phone number ended with 96.
And that was the only teacher in the school that phone number ends in a 96.
When we interviewed Mr. Brown, he said that Mr. Greenwood asked him to put up a missing poster of his trophy, so he was being a good friend.
But then Mr. Brown continued to put photos up of him finding it, and if he was trying to be a good friend, why didn't he go give it back to
Mr. Brown used to be the vice principal, so he may have connections throughout the school. So, who do you think has the trophy?
I think Mr. Brown has the trophy.
Why do you think that Mr. Brown has it?
You nodded your head, yes. Why do I think?
Yeah.
Do you guys know the real story about the trophy?
Yeah, so that's what we were going to ask. What is it, and why is everybody out on the hunt for it?
There is a group of gentlemen in this building that we have a little league that we predict things on, and the winner got that trophy, and Mr. Brown, this is why I think Mr. Brown took it. He and Mr. Greenwood were tied at the end of last year, and we had a playoff, and Mr. Greenwood won fair and square, and Mr. Brown's a sore loser.
Okay.
He's trying to steal. I think he stole it.
So, do you think that Mr. Brown is trying to cover it up by having like everyone else like root for it and stuff?
By having
he's
his
blaming it on me,
class.
right?
By
So,
having his class
Having
go out?
all of his class come and harass me.
So, what
Come in
does
my
this
office.
trophy look like?
You haven't seen, it looks like the picture in the trophy case. It's a little golden wrestler holding his arms up in victory.
Why do you
Like
think Mr. Redwine would have it?
Mr. Redwine, he was sneaking around in my office a lot more than normal this week. So I think he planted it when everybody thought they saw it in my office.
Then maybe Mr. Brown.
But why are we only blaming boy teachers?
That's a good question.
So, if there were any girl teachers, were there any girl teachers
How do you know
that...
Miss Regal's not involved and got you guys recording all of us trying to get us to think that it's not her? She might.
Could be good.
She could be.
So, where do you think someone would hide it?
If you had a trophy, or if you had the trophy...
If
where-
I had the trophy, where would I hide it?
Yeah.
I would hide it wherever I thought Mr. Greenwood wouldn't look.
Because we've been like investigating people's like fridges and stuff.
That's not a bad idea.
They-
Yeah, we asked Mrs. West
there.
if we could unsuspiciously...
Don't go through anybody's desk drawers.
Yeah.
That'd be bad. Don't
But
do
they
that.
have been
But they-
protecting behind their desk a lot. Like Mr. Clark today, when we were doing Alex, he was pretty protective back there.
See, you're blaming a boy teacher again.
That's what we were saying in class. Miss Joseph could... She
She could be on him too.
She hasn't been talking to
Mr. Moody, do you guys know who Mr. Moody
Yes,
is?
and a lot
Yeah,
of
we've
people
been
have been...
thinking that.
Yeah. He's a big wrestling fan, and it was his trophy originally. He just walked by. He's been bringing his classes by a bunch too, going to the library, and they're kind of poking in here. And he's been hanging around the office a bunch too.
Well, thank you for.
You're welcome. I hope we find it
Yes.
because I don't have it.
Okay.
Okay.
I have permission to look through your room?
Absolutely.
Okay. So... Ready, Lauren? Should I lift you up?
Yeah. Not up there.
Okay. Do you see anything back there?
No.
Let's see. Oh, that's a baby. No, that's a baseball.
Not back here.
There's a door.
This is where everybody thinks it was, right?
It's not there though.
Nothing back there.
Is it in the Clorox machine?
No.
Well, I don't see any of it here.
Not
So, thank you.
Now we are going to state facts against Mr. Dudley. Dudley was in the room the day the trophy was taken, which means he could have been the one that took it.
Dudley has access to the girls' basketball locker. That means that Mr. Dudley could have planted the trophy in the girls' basketball locker.
Dudley has control of IMS Twitter.
When we interrogated Mr. Dudley, he went around the answers.
Dudley was blaming everyone else, probably to get him off track.
Mr. Dudley loves mysteries.
Dudley can't give a straight answer without going off topic.
He was trying to avoid the answer. I think that Mr. Dudley is working with someone else to steal the trophy. In the picture, there is a reflection of someone else other than Mr. Brown. I believe that that is Mr. Dudley.
Suspect list: Mr. Brown and Mr. Dudley. We also added one more person, Mr. Rampelt, and this is why.
Because he can create the Yorktown addresses, and we got one for the YMS Yorktown addresses.
He also has access to the cameras in the school. When we asked him for the time that the trophy got stolen, he said that it was blacked out. He can only do that.
If you pulled out the trophy, we've considered that you're involved with it. So first, Mrs. Regal texted you and asked you if we could see the security footage of when the trophy was stolen. But you said that it was blacked out at that time. Is that really true?
Yeah, that's the thing is sometimes our security system doesn't work right and it crashes on us sometimes. So we had some issues. I went back and looked at the tape and yeah, it's all right.
So are you really sure, you're telling the truth that it, or are you just trying
Listen,
to
I've been around this rodeo before. I know what these accusations are, and I'm just telling you the truth. I have nothing to hide, so I'm always going to tell you the truth. Happens that we just had a server issue at the time, and it was blacked out, so I can't go back and retrieve it. I looked through the archives, I can't find it.
We found this email about Mr. Jeff, and it said that he looked up these things about Kurt Angle.
Yep.
Do you know why he might have looked those up?
Why he would look those up? All I did was provide the evidence. I looked up his search history, and it said Kurt Angle, and it talked about picking a lock. So, but you guys actually found a key, so maybe that was just coincidental. But what I see now is that's what I saw. I ran a report just like I can run a report on any student here, and that's what I saw. So I sent that out to everybody so that they know the truth.
Do you know anything about Montreal?
Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the place? Yeah, It's a place in Canada.
Do you know anything else?
You're going to talk about WWE related or just about the city?
Like WWE related.
I just know that's where the great Montreal Screwjob happened. That was a thing that happened to WWE a long time ago, but had nothing to do with Kurt Angle. So yes, I do know some things about Montreal.
So back to the Jeff thing, you're one of the only ones that can log into his account and type in things on his search history.
Well, I don't know. I can't. I don't have access to Mr. Jeff's account. I couldn't do anything. I would have to actually have reset his password, which he would have noticed if I would have done that. So I can't actually log into his account, but I can run a search history on his account, and I showed you exactly what came up.
We also got this email from Unknown, and it was a YMS email account, and you're the only one who can make those.
I'm not the only one that can make those. There are other people in the tech department, believe it or not. We do have some more people that are in the tech department, so it's just not me. Now, was it unknown at Yorktown, or was it unknown at Google, Gmail?
The name was Yorktown, and it was at the Yorktown. It was a Yorktown email.
So I feel like you get some accusations here. Are you saying that you think I'm the person who stole the Kurt Angle trophy? Is that
you
think I'm a part of it? Oh,
let
me tell you a couple things here. Trophy-wise, I don't take trophies out of this. I put trophies in here. As you can see, I am a 5-time HHC conference champion. All right, I am a 2-time county runner-up. So I'm only putting trophies in. I'm not taking any trophies out. So I know all these accusations are coming, but I think you can look at people who don't have trophies.
Thank you.
Yep.
So you said that you put the trophies in the case.
Yep.
Why are you even messing with our trophies? You coach at Delta.
I used to coach at Yorktown, actually. If you didn't know, I coached golf here for about 7 years. So I coach golf and I coach basketball. So if you pull that HHC trophy out, you're going to see Chris Van Pelt in the back of it a lot of times. I tell you who you won't see. You won't see Mr. Greenwood on the back of there. You won't see Mr. Brown. You won't. Well, you will see Mr. Dudley, but only one time. So 5 times. I don't need to get any more trophies. I've got plenty.
You're getting very confident.
But why are you like still playing the trophies? Is that like your
I retired. I'm retired now, so I don't put it in there anymore. But I put enough in there that makes it full. So fortunately, situation happened, but you got the wrong guy. So.
Have any of your trophies got taken out yet?
No, they're still in there. So you can go in there. You can see my face in there right now. You can go see all of them. So look at that golf one. It's got my name on it 5 times. So all right. All right. Thank you.
So we have found a lot of facts, and we have a
Okay.
Yes, and we have the previous photo of you that shows, or not of you, but it shows the 7th and 8th grade basketball, and it.
Oh yeah. I went, and it's not there. But here's the other thing: like, why would I pose it so it's just like hanging out of there? If why would I hang it out like that if I wanted to actually hide it?
And Jameson found that jersey under it, and so.
Did you guys find the trophy?
No, because it's locked.
Yeah, we need
Oh.
a combination or something.
Oh, you need a combination?
Yeah,
And
you
so-
like for the 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
Another combination.
Yeah, I mean I'm the coach, so yeah, for sure.
And we need to know that why did you leave early yesterday?
Yeah.
Why did I leave early?
like
I had
a
that dental appointment.
Okay.
So your questions are
No, I got a crown.
Oh,
Yeah, I
nice.
got a crown.
Alright, so we've heard that you and Mr. Dudley made sure that Mr. Greenwood won the trophy. Is that correct?
Well, I was there, I was present, but I wasn't a part of that. That wasn't, and listen, I didn't win it, or I didn't even get it, so like, why would I have anything to do with that, right?
And why did you want, or why did Mr. Dudley or you want Mr. Greenwood to win?
See, once again, that was Mr. Dudley's thing, so I'm not really sure what that was all about. I was there, I thought it was really wrong, because Mr. Greenwood kind of got ruined there, but that was
Wait, so Mr. Greenwood didn't win?
He did win. Like, the thing is they were trying to mess with Mr. Brown.
Because what was the final question? Do you remember?
Something about which WrestleMania, who attended which
And
WrestleMania.
it was only Mr. Greenwood that did. So he won fair and square. But not
But I
really
didn't
fair. And we just want to look in there.
Oh, I mean, if you stop by after school, not today because I won't have a practice. You stop by after school, you can check it out.
Okay.
It's not in there.
And who else has a combination or a key to the?
Well, Mr. Dudley, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if you know, but Mr. Brown used to be the assistant principal. So it's a good possibility he was the person that did it.
Yeah.
Mr. Greenwood doesn't, so they're custodians.
Yeah, we've checked them.
Other coaches, probably. Mr. Strong.
Yeah. But he's pretty he doesn't.
Suspicious?
Yeah.
Well, I personally think it's rather suspicious because Mrs. Bischoff's name hasn't even come up. I, of course, do not know. I do not cast aspersions upon anybody. It was framed to take the focus off the true culprit. There are many questions associated with this, such as, so why all of a sudden does it show up in Mrs. Bischoff's room? And there are other questions too, like, where's my other sock? I don't know.
So, what do you think?
I do not believe in judging people on opinion. The court of public opinion is very unreliable. But I still think Kelly Lynn is a very shady character.
So,
Not that I don't love her or think she's complete, you know.
but so in our interview yesterday, she told us that she had it and it was in her house.
That Winkle confessed, huh?
Yeah. And so, and she said since she confessed that she might move it on. So do you think that she put anything against the chef's terms?
Well, it would appear that either it would appear she's connected with it. But I do not, I think she's far too clever to do it herself. I'm sure she had one of her minions do her bidding.
So Mr. Ryan gave us the hint of where the trophy might be, and he said that since it's a wrestler, he would put it where it belongs. So he came to the wrestling ring to ask us some questions.
Okay.
So, who do you think has the trophy?
Oh. I don't want to get anybody in trouble or name any names. I have no idea.
Who would you think that has it though?
I would say some kind of joker like, and I'm not a joker.
Oh my God, in class every day.
No, Mr. Vest doesn't get it. I would say it might be someone like, maybe Mr. Shaw or Mr. Greenwood himself.
Why would he hide his own trophy?
Tough frames.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's a good idea. So,
that it had something. What I think that we were suspecting the BIT, and then actually a music teacher got thrown in there.
Yeah.
Maybe language teachers, and then the last email was quite incriminating.
what one was it about?
It said something about she and equation.
Okay. Do you know anything about any women involved in the mystery?
Well, there are several female teachers, so
It's not Mrs. Regal. Okay? Whoever said that it was her, it's not.
I think that might be better.
He was just being a good teacher by doing what Mr. Dudley said in the first place.
And to prove it, we have the email that he sent her. She wants us to find this thing. She wants us to find it, so why wouldn't she hide it in like such an obvious place for us to find it and tell us where she thought that it was and where she wanted us to go look?
It could be that simple, and she could get the reward too.
So they actually just
Everyone else is putting out proof on messages like they know stuff, and Mrs. Regal isn't, because she didn't steal it. And on her schedule, students can always access her, and her door is always open for people to walk in.
And she never leaves her room unless she has to go out of school to get stuff.
And we have no evidence on Mrs. Regal like we do on other people. We have tons more evidence on other people than we do Regal.
So happy, and I'm a little worried that it might be lost again. So I'm probably going to this weekend build a glass container to have it inside, and nobody can. Well, I have to make it really heavy so that nobody can take it away very easily. Or either that, or I could find a way to screw it into the shelf. I have some work to do. I really have to work really hard at this. But I tell you this, that Kurt Angle trophy is mine, and it's going to be mine again next year when I win the contest again. And nobody's going to take it. Nobody.
So who do you think
Originally, I have my number one suspect is my number one adversary, Mr. Brown. And then I think Mr. Van Pelt found his way into this somehow, and Mr. Moody and Mr. Dudley, and it was found in Mrs. Bischoff's room. So I, at this point, suspect everybody, which is why I'm building the glass case.
Do you think it will be stolen again?
I worry so much. I probably won't sleep all weekend worrying about this.
So I heard that you're one of the ones that found the trophy.
Yep, kind of.
So like, where was it and like, what
Well,
did you do?
I was in algebra, and me and my friend Jordan, we saw this, like, something that looked like an action figure on top of the speaker, and I didn't know what the trophy looked like. I hadn't really heard much about it, so I just saw it, and I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. And then she comes to me later, and she says, that we saw, that was the trophy and everything, and somebody else had saw it, and went and told Mr. O'Brien, who told Miss Greenwood, and then they got the trophy.
So who do you think is like in on this trying to do it?
Honestly, I have no idea. I really haven't heard anything about this until like you started talking about it and stuff. So I don't know. I heard something about Mr. Brown maybe, or Mr. Dudley or something.
Okay.
So we are here with one of the girls that actually found the trophy. So how did you find it?
I looked up after I walked back from the teacher's desk, and it was sitting there, and I thought it was an action figure, and then it wasn't.
So what are you feeling? So you didn't know like really what it was, right? So what are you feeling now that you found it and you know what it is?
Kind of happy that I found it, to be honest.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. I believe it was a major conspiracy. I think it goes all the way to the top. The top of the top. The top of the world. Yes. And that's why I believe there was a massive cover-up. A big old blanket of cover-up. And just like my missing sock, something smelly is afoot.
So is it true to have the trophy the whole time?
You know, I don't know anything about this trophy. As far as I know, it was never in my room at all. So I had some different sixth graders come down and investigate, and it was never in there.
So people are
You know, I don't think those people are really thinking clearly. I think that's a mistake. They shouldn't blame me. I'm 100% innocent. Thank you.
We have come up with a conclusion of who all stole the trophy.
We think that it is the whole group that did the wrestling trivia thing because of all the evidence that we have behind them, and we are pretty sure that they're trying to frame other people for it.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Ethan Glenn.
Today we will be talking about the punishments that the person should get, whoever stole the trophy.
I think they should clean up after home basketball games.
They should also clean up after the cafeteria.
They should be the secretary's assistant.
And every morning they have to do a silly dance and sing in the gym for the rest of the year.
Also, they should have to clean the toilets. Those are some punishments that I think